What is going on, guys? Joey Franzo here with Flex Training Systems. A couple days ago, I posted in my Instagram story for you guys to send me some video topics for me to cover. I got a lot of good responses. I'm just going to go over 3 topics that I picked out in this video. As you can tell by the title, hopefully I was able to fit them all in there. I'm also going to record this video on my phone as opposed to recording it with my nice microphone, so you guys can let me know down below which one you prefer. And really quickly, somebody asked me to do a video log. I am going to do more of those. I promise. I'm just in the process of rearranging some things, and I'm moving soon. But literally, in my room already, I already have 4 monitors. I have 2 PCs. There's gonna be a lot of stuff changing and going on once I get situated. So it'll be so much easier for me to actually be on camera. And I think just making my setup better will just incentivize me to do that. All right. So first topic we're gonna talk to we're gonna talk to a topic. And I think you guys will be able to take away a lot from the last topic that we're going to go over today. But first, evaluating progression outside of competition. This one comes from Suhail. I think that's how you say your name. I've been working with this guy for a little while now. Great dude. Good communication. Puts in the work. How you doing, buddy? A couple markers that you can use to help evaluate, your progression outside of the gym. This is assuming that your noob gains have kind of died down, and now it's going to be a little bit harder for you to tell that you're getting stronger. One very, very simple way is to every week at the day of the week that you're going to be the strongest on that particular lift. You can start off your lifting with a single, base it on RPE. So anywhere from 6 to 8. That can kind of give you an indicator of how strong you are and what's happening, and what's going on, in your training. Typically in a taper phase, when we're kind of peaking, that's going to gradually climb up. If you're in the middle of a crazy volume block, just looking at the amount of work that you've done over time, that can also be a way to kind of tell, how I'm handling way more weights, or typically if you're training with any kind of frequency, you could just remember the top weight that you used. There's a lot of different markers. I think it's really important to kind of not get so caught up in numbers and I don't really like tonnage too much, because I think there's a discussion that's starting to rise now of what's more important, doing how much work you've done overall, versus the quality of the quality of the work that you're doing, meaning if I can do one set that's going to elicit growth, why am I going to kill myself doing a million other sets? Some people are going to need more than others. I would say if you do your top set with one weight and it starts off at an RPE 6, and by the third set you're already an 8.5, I'd say you're probably good to stop. Going any more than that, and you're just kind of digging yourself in a hole, which is going to compromise your lifting later in the week, and then you're going to be doing less overall. So two different kinds of ways right there for you. There's other things to look at as well, but just how you're feeling. But your intuition is going to usually your intuition is right. If this is something that you've been doing for a long time, and that you're someone that's really objective. That's why I like training with RPE, is because it forces you to be objective with your training. So yeah, that's how you can evaluate progress outside of competition. Competition is going to be the best way, in my opinion, because you're going to try to emulate those conditions and see what's going on. Next question comes from my man, Fitness IQ. You guys know Jorge. You can call him George. You can call him El Jefe. Whatever you want to call him. What's going on, man? He said, he asked about female versus male athletes, training them. And I was thinking about this in the car yesterday. When training, so I guess the really, training, the emphasis is on female. you would train a female athlete the same way you would train a male, in a sense that the principles that you apply to training and coaching in general work the same for females. But some tendencies, this is not always true, but this can be true, is they can tend to handle more volume overall. They don't need as much recovery. Their recovery timeline is very short, meaning they can recover from a movement in 24 hours where it would take me like 3 days, maybe even a week. They're dealing with smaller muscles. Also, I mean, I don't know how much research. I know that estrogen is like a buffer against like muscular breakdown, and obviously females have more than that than males. But yeah, so everything's the same. Just they're a little bit more resilient in that they're not gonna get hurt as much. Really, some girls just don't break. So they can kind of handle higher RPEs a little better. I think they actually respond better to higher RPEs. They can handle more work overall. And, you know, I think where a lot of people screw up is especially with the taper. You don't really need to taper them until the last minute, rather than, you know, where I might start my peak 21 days out or something like that. So I hope that helps. If you guys have any more questions on anything, go ahead and ask me down below. The final question that I'm covering today, that I might do another video part of this series, is when should you coach others? This is a really good question, and I think because powerlifting is so easily accessible, meaning anybody can do it, anybody can, anybody can say that they're a coach online. There's no wall, there's no qualification, there's nothing regulating anything. So first thing, there's nothing regulating what somebody can say on the internet aside from like really bad shit. So what I would say, well, first off, is if you are a consumer, right? So if you're someone listening to this video that doesn't have a coach or whatever, do your research on that person, find out as much about them as possible, and get a good feel for them, and then you can decide whether that person is going to be good for you or not. This is why, you know, if you guys ever want to look at my clients, you can just hit up my hashtags. I try to be very like everything I do, aside from like actual spreadsheets, is like on. Like, you could see it. Like, you can look at my people, you can do your research on me, you can find out what I've done, you can go through my channel. Like, it's all there. You know, I try to post results when they happen. I like, that's pretty much it, just being transparent. So, getting back to the question, when should you coach others? Sorry, I just thought that was important. That's why I had to get it out. When should you coach others? I think you should coach people when you yourself, we'll start from the bottom up, you yourself have started at a point and worked up to a respectable or an appreciable level of progress, one that you think other people might relate to, or something that you're content with, something that you believe like, wow, I put in a lot of work to get here. I've come a long way. I've learned a lot from where I was. I feel like I know it enough to teach other people. Then you can start, I would literally start working with people for free if you're just starting. I remember way back, I think it was like 2014, probably 2015. I remember Gibbs, Brett Gibbs, shout out to Gibbs. He took on 5 people, I think it was. 5 people, and he just for free, like he just wanted to work with 5 people for free. If I'm wrong, Gibbs, you can correct me, but he took on 5 people, and I think I'm pretty sure the purpose of it was for him to just kind of get experience and like bring those people, see if what he knew would work on those people. The reason why you want to try doing it for free is because, 1, you're going to learn a lot. 2, there's no paywall, so there's not really going to be like a filtration system. So you're going to get like a wide range of people that work with you. And you're going to learn from it. I would take notes, and it's a process. It's a process. It's not something that you can't just be a good coach overnight. You know what I mean? It's going to take a long time. I think one of the biggest parts about being a good coach, I think, is just the intangibles, the things that you can't. I've told this to Russ many times, although I haven't said it in a while. The X's and O's, any coach that knows what they're doing is going to have good X's and O's. but it's really the intangibles. It's really the relationship that you have between the lifter and the coach. Are you able to empower them? Are you able to, kind of get them out of a rut when they're not feeling good? Do you have a content for them to sift through when they need something, when you're asleep, or when you're doing something else, or when you're not with them? Do you have a place for them to go, kind of like resources for them? I have this entire channel. I keep it open. Anybody can go look at it, and it covers a wide range of topics. Stuff that I don't really think I've heard anyone say too much about that, but it's really the intangibles, and also your demeanor. Are you the type? I've always been the type of person that I could have 10 different friends that all hate each other. They'll never get along with each other just because of their backgrounds are different, but I can get along with them just because I'm kind of like, I can kind of mold to their situation, or I kind of just go with the flow, or I know when to shut up or stay in my lane or whatever. So I feel like the biggest part about coaching, and you can ask yourself this question, is, do I know how to have a situation presented in front of me, and then take what that person is giving me, their feedback, and then come up with a response that is digestible for them in a way where they're going to understand it, and know that I'm coming from a place of just wanting them to be the best that they can be, rather than them, maybe having some sort of insecurity, taking it as a criticism. Although it is constructive criticism, it's just, you have to deliver it in a way to where they understand. So it's a little bit of a complicated answer. So I'd see if I can kind of summarize it. So 1, start with yourself. What have you done? 2, who have you coached? How have they done? Right. For me, as an example, I have many people that have been with me for a long time, that you can see where they started and where they're gonna end up. Some of my longest standing athletes are the ones that see, they reach a point where we just become autonomous, and we're just rolling with the progress. Granted, it's gonna slow down and become harder. 3, once you have enough experience, you feel, so a couple years, and you've worked with people, and you feel like you're ready to put yourself out there, be transparent, and take it seriously, because I hear this quote a lot in this community. It's like, if you're not passionate, you're gonna run into someone who's passionate, and you're gonna get smacked, right? Like, if somebody says they're a coach and they want to come bring their lifters to a meet that I'm at with my lifters, I'm probably going to do, I'm fucking passionate, if you guys haven't noticed, right? So I'm going to put everything into my lifters. And if you beat me after I put everything into them and they give their 100%, then I got to live with that. But I'm just saying, don't come to no meet where my peoples is at, and don't bring it. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And I think as a coach, you should be confident in yourself, and you should feel like what you're doing has a one-up on what other people are doing, or you should really feel confident in your method. That is another key point. Feeling super confident in what you're doing, but not to the point of delusion. So you're being, realistic with yourself, and being able to kind of identify, when you fuck up. But yeah, damn, man, I really went on a tangent there. I hope you guys appreciate this video. I think there's some good information in this video. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them down below. If you made it this far, let me get a hashtag. Let's go back to the OG, the hashtag keys. Hashtag keys in the comments below. I need to figure out how to upload these on iTunes. And stuff like that, because it seems like you guys like listening to things like, if I'm just going to do audio, just put it like that. I may have someone do it for me down the road, depending on what happens. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you all. It is 9/11. Have a good week, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.